Hello, and welcome to the Tower Coffee Hour. I'm your host, Preston, or Ty Tyree, and today we had a chance to talk with Christi Chesser, who provided the information at the Cohere Community Café in Miller Central. Cohere is the management team that has taken over as we transition to a resident-run POA, and it looks like we've got a great team. Christi talked a lot about the things that are going on and gave us some great information about how to sign in, how to get the information you need, and the new website that's coming. So let's go take a quick look at what happened in the community cafe on February 13th.
And I just want to thank you all for being here today. We have a little bit of a chat planned for you guys, and then we can get back to mingling and enjoying the food and enjoying each other. But thanks for joining us. We're calling this a community cafe, which might be an unconventional name for a gathering like this, but we're very intentional about that. Before we get started and I start to explain a little bit more, I wanted to make some introductions in the room. And I know we got a big group, so we're going to power through this very quickly. I want everyone to introduce themselves, if you wouldn't mind. And in that, if you wouldn't mind just saying maybe how long you've lived here at Miller. And if you have a funny story or anecdote and want to share it quickly, feel free to do that. But let's get started. Dennis, I'm going to pick on you first.
Okay, Dennis Mick, been here since 2009.
Nice.
And I'd like to keep it moving. So.
Okay, let's go.
Saeed Azim, almost 11 years.
Very nice. Let's not skip. I'll come back to you. You guys are. I won't put y'all on the spot. Go ahead, Tyree.
Preston Tyree, I'm also known as Ty, and I've been here for 8 years.
Sorry, I missed your first name. Ty.
Ty.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. 8 years. And then we'll come back to Cohere Community Life. Yes, ma'am?
Sana Azim, 11 years.
11 years. Wonderful.
Carol Mick since 2009 with him.
We came together.
Karen Sharp, 2013.
And
Me?
yeah,
I'm Lily Duran, and I've been here since 2008.
wonderful.
So one of the first ones.
Yep.
Very cool. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, Alice and Popful Lee. We bought the house in 2016, but we don't move until the end of 2018.
Wow. Welcome.
Ani Colt, I was one of the first 50 residents in Wildflower Terrace. It'll be 13 years this April.
Wonderful. Congratulations on your anniversary coming up.
Tim Pulaski, moved here 2009.
And I'm Joe Denton, and I was, Elizabeth, I'll tell you a little story. Elizabeth, one day she called me up and said, "Do you have a remodel in you?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Well, go put $50 down on the Pioneer program." So we've been here 16 years now.
Wow.
Lorraine Wallace, and we've been here since 2009.
Mary Viney, and we were also in the Pioneer program in the lottery. Got a lottery to begin the first houses on Town Miller.
And I'm Marilyn, and I live on Tom Mill. We moved in January of 08.
Nice.
Sandy Clark, 2009.
Wow. That's amazing. Do a lot of y'all know each other in the room already? Y'all moved in around the same time, so I've probably been in
No, but you're in
circles.
all different areas.
Yeah. Sort of yes, sort of no.
Well, very cool. Now, let's go around and meet the Cohere team. Lindsay.
Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay and I'm the Communications and Engagement Coordinator here.
Hi everyone, I'm Angela DeMora and I'm the Director of Community Operations.
I am Joe Restucia and I'm the Executive Director of the community.
We have Rachel over there.
Yes.
Oh, I was letting the local team introduce themselves, but I'm Rachel. I am down in New Braunfels at Barramundi, and I am the Engagement and Communications Manager down there.
She just started with us on Monday.
I did.
Wow.
Awesome. My name is Paul. I lead the engagement and communications team at Easton Park, which is a similar community just like Mueller in Southeast Austin. And my purpose here is to help onboard the engagement and communications professionals so that way we can empower y'all to be more empowered residents.
And I'm Danielle. I am fortunate to work with Paul at Easton Park, and I'm the community engagement manager.
My name is Matthew Dosher. I'm regional support for our portfolio in Texas and work with Joe directly and the team here on operations.
Okay, I think that leaves me. Before we get to me, I missed these ladies over here. Do you mind just sharing your name and how long you've been here?
I'm Earlene, and I've been here 9 years this month.
Wonderful, Earlene, thank you.
And my friend.
It's okay, I get it.
We're the opposite twins, Earlene, Irene.
I love it. Thank y'all for being here. And my name is Christi Chesser, also with Cohere. I'm the regional vice president and for our central region, which covers Texas and Colorado. Y'all may know and remember me from the annual meeting. And I'm just glad to be here with everyone today and share with you a little bit of information about Cohere and the new partnership that we have with Miller. We're super excited about that. So I hope you have a chance to kind of move around the room. What we've got here, we've asked you to share your hearts with us and let us know what you love about Miller. It is Valentine's Day tomorrow, after all. And what we plan to do with this is this helps us understand what we need to make sure and keep front and center and keep going. These are priorities, right? But also we want to hear from your mind. And that's what the comment cards are for. So I've got a lot more of those, and don't be shy about it if we need to put out more, but that's a chance to share with us any suggestions or feedback you have. And there's a place on there that says, who would it benefit? And that's real valuable too, because it helps us put more context around those set of priorities as well. So we do have 2 handouts on that side of the table there. One is an FAQ that has information about how to make payments and just in general about Cohere. The next one is a handout that we're actually going to cover a lot of the material today. So I want you to be sure and take one with you, and I've got additional copies here, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So the purpose of a community cafe like this is it's a time to gather and have a dialogue. And so hopefully we can do that today. It's to learn about each other, and community to us means so much more than just a place. It's a time, and it's an opportunity actually that means connection and support, and it promotes a sense of belonging and just mutual care amongst folks, right? And that's probably why you're compelled to be here today, is that you have this care and this heart for Miller, and you have a vested interest in these operations and want to see that we're on the right track to make improvements or to keep the things that are important to you going. In a community, members contribute and they benefit to shared resources, and we support each other through challenges, and we celebrate successes together. And it's a place where relationships are cultivated and where individuals should feel heard, and they should feel respected and valued. And at Cohere, we believe and we know that there's actually real life-changing power in community. And so I'm going to share with you a little bit about our strategies for how we bring that front and center for Miller going forward. So I mentioned a couple of handouts, and on those there's an introduction to Cohere, and that's the purpose today, to introduce ourselves, take a deeper dive into this transition of management partners that we're still in the process of. And not sure if everyone really understands that transition itself and how that came to be, so I wanted to share a little bit about that. Over the course of the last year, several of your resident volunteers came together and they worked really hard to research and to really understand community association management as a service offering, so that they could make some very informed decisions and recommendations to the board. Ultimately, the decision was made to explore other management companies out there, and specifically ones that specialize in larger communities that have more complex governance structures, multiple layers to that, more complex financial infrastructures to them. And Cohere was identified as that partner of choice. And the decision became official sometime in about October of last year. And that partnership actually commenced on February 1st this month. So we are just a few days in, and things are going very well. It's not without its challenges, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. I believe in having a very open and honest dialogue, and some of you guys have already shared with me some of the concerns or some of the past behaviors or processes you hope you see improvement in, and we want to know more about that too, so that we can do that. But through the whole process of preparing for February 1st, we listened really hard. The board got a lot of great feedback from residents through multiple meetings and learned about what priorities and concerns and needs there were in the community, and those have been transferred to us. So lots to come around that, but we feel like we've got a good handle on what those priorities are for this year for sure, and that's what our focus is. So you're going to hear us use terms like community life a lot, and that's very intentional, and I want to teach you all that term as well. In a community like Miller, it takes a lot more than just mere management and administration in order to bring life-changing power of community, right? Those things, they're needed. Management administration is needed for life-changing power, but how can you really change lives just through that? We feel the term community life is just a better representation to our holistic approach to community management. And your community life team that you've been reintroduced to today is a critical part to this. So Joe and Lindsay and Angela and all of those that aren't here because they're out in the field taking care of the community. You probably recognize these names and these faces, and we are super proud of the fact that we have retained this team, and they, as of February 1st, became Cohere employees. And I'm excited for not only the community, but for them most of all, because this team has been really challenged, Joe, I'm looking at you, by not having a good support and safety net behind them in order to prop them up for extreme ownership and leadership in this community. So that is something that myself and Matthew are working on daily with this team. And I'm gonna let you speak here in just a second. I could tell you probably want to say something. So we're gonna wait a second. And so during the months leading up though to February 1st, we spent a lot of time with this team. And we were blown away by, honestly, the significant investment that individuals and collectively have made in this community. And we were really pleased to learn about their passion for the greater mission. And they truly also believe in community and the life-changing power. And they are just primed and ready in order to be set free, in order to make these things happen. You may be wondering, how are we going to do this? How are we going to employ or deploy or fulfill the promise of deeper connections and just an overall better experience for residents? And we've got a few things that we're working on. Right now, we're going to focus on getting the basics down pat, and we're going to level the wings on the plane, and we're going to get our customer service down. And we're going to get familiar with our tools and the resources that we've implemented and put on this team effective this month. And we're going to get the financials steady and in place. And then we can start implementing some of these other strategies, which would include opportunities to increase resident engagement. And we do this through multiple ways. These community cafes, you'll see these pop up every now and then. And it's not just for the purpose of meet and greet, but it's for more dialogue and more discussion with you guys, more feedback gathering. We do have a full breadth of comprehensive management services, of course, that are already in place, and those include regular maintenance, compliance, financial management, and then of course strategic planning. So strategic planning is also a very critical critical need whenever you are managing any kind of business, right? This is a corporation, and it has all the components of a corporation, including a large team and a board of directors. And we've all got to have a roadmap for what we need to focus on. And so we're going to take the feedback that this board has already gathered from residents, and we're putting that into a strategic plan, and that becomes our roadmap for what we need to focus on beyond just making sure that we're flawless at the fundamentals of customer service, of the financial oversight, etc. So let's talk a little bit more about the transition itself and kind of the nuts and bolts of that. Again, in the months leading up to February 1st, there's a series of things that happen. We have to be in touch with your prior management company, and we work in partnership in order for them to transmit files and information over to us. We've onboarded, as I've said, 11 team members so that we can continue these day-to-day operations and also start to train them on the Cohere way of doing things. And then at the same time, there is this massive accounting transition that's happening, and which is actually going quite well. And so I wanted to unravel that a little bit to give you the nuts and bolts of what happens there. Associa, your prior management company, actually does all of the financial work up until January 31st. And then effective February 1st, Cohere becomes your accounting partner, okay? And so we are in that place right now, being that it is February 13th, where we need Associa to close the books for year end and for January, which is a process. Even closing the books for year end typically could take upwards of 60 days. They're trying to condense that into a much smaller period so they can close both year end and January for us. Once they close those books, then they're able to send us things like your ending account balance as of January 31st. Because you made payments in January, right, to Associa. You probably would like to make sure that that landed. And if you log in to your Cohere portal to view your account balance today, it's not there. That's normal. And it's not gonna be there probably until maybe mid-March, okay? Now, once we do have it, Cohere will be able to track your information. But again, we can't track what information we don't have yet. And it's very normal for one company to close their books, provide those reports, we upload the reports into our system, and then that balance information becomes available. So that's why we set the expectation that an accounting transition is still going on for 60 days beyond our partnership launch date of February 1st. That's also why we don't charge any late fees or interest through that entire period. It's just not fair. So we ask for your patience. We're all in this together. We would love to be able to confirm. I am confident that the payments that you made in January landed with where they needed to be. We go through these onboarding of communities quite regularly, and we've never come across a situation. In the instance that there is a situation and your payment didn't land, we're able to trace that back, and typically there's not been a payment that's even been cleared from your bank. That can be stopped, and you can make a payment to catch up with that. I was able to help someone. I don't see her here. I think she got what she needed and had to jet, but she came in and she wanted to make sure she set up her ACH auto draft. And in it said your next auto draft would be March 5th. Well, she's got a payment, everybody's got a payment that's due February, right? And so she said, well, what do I do about this February payment? I don't want to have to make a one-time payment and pay a credit card processing fee for that. And I get it, I wouldn't want to either. What's gonna happen if you set up your ACH withdrawal to happen on the 5th of every month, on March 5th, it's gonna pull all of what's due. So it's gonna pull her February and her March. And that made her feel better because she didn't have to worry about that. So I just wanted to share that with y'all because we've solved for that in the moment. There's other free ways to make a payment. You can always use your bank's bill pay system to send a check. You can always mail a physical check yourself. So anybody have any questions while we're at it, talking about the accounting specifically? Yes, ma'am.
I haven't gotten my letter yet.
You haven't gotten the letter. So we
Is that okay? I mean,
yeah, no, please. I'm glad you brought that up. So the letter that you're referring to, there was a welcome letter that was mailed, I want to say probably by early January, and it said, welcome, we are Cohere, and it was a letter generated with your personal, we called it a portal key, registration key, for logging into your Vantica portal. And we've heard from a handful, more than a handful of people that they never got the letter. We know a lot of people did get it, but I can't speak to why some didn't. So we have a workaround, and all of these team members, including myself, can help you today pull out our laptops and get you set up with your Vantica portal. It takes us literally about 20 seconds to do it. So my suggestion is, let's do that. I got my laptop right over there, and I can log in and get you a portal, your portal set up. That was the only thing, although it's a big thing, that you were missing in the letter. So thank you for bringing that up. We can get you set up today, okay?
Okay, and I need the letter too, if there's other additional information.
There's really not. The letter was a focus on exactly that. Everything else we've been sharing has been through the messenger. Is everybody getting the Friday messenger? Would it be okay then if I just mention, if you didn't receive your portal key letter, please do reach out to Mueller@coherelife.com, and our team takes just seconds in order to provide you with a login. And that is what was in that letter. Yes, it says welcome, we are Cohere, but the purpose of the letter was to provide you the ability to go and register yourself for your Vantica portal. And if you didn't get it, we can help with that. Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am. So properties will merge. So the question was, I own more than one property in Miller, and when you log into the Vantica portal, you would like those to be merged into one login. Yes. So I just learned that there is a little bit of a delay in when we first launch a community and Vantica being able to merge those two. And so that's what you're in right now, is that period where we're waiting for that to merge. Yeah. So I think that's going to happen probably in another 2 to 3 weeks, that you'll be able to log in and see those merged. Good. I want to follow up and make sure that what I'm saying actually happens. So yeah, let's do that. I like to trust but verify. So let's talk about that for a second. Customer service. On the handout there, I've got an email address at the bottom of the first page, and on the second page there's just a little bit more information. Our contact information has somewhat changed. The phone number is still the same. The team is still here. However, we are asking folks to email Mueller@coherelife.com. And why is that? That is because when you email that email address, that email lands in our system, and it automatically, once the system learns you and your email address is tied to your home address, it attaches that communication to your account, and now we have a history of our connections, which is super important, right? You don't want to tell your story 100 times, right? If you're trying to get help to something. So we have that. Our team here is learning that system, and so they're working really hard, especially when we launch a new partnership and the community is now almost at a bottleneck of trying to get information. We do expect that there could be a little bit longer lag time in waiting. What I'll ask the Cohere team, Community Life team, is if you guys are seeing a backlog of we call them action items, we've got resources to help with that. And we don't feel like you gotta wait and just weed through them. We can all power through them together. So we'll take a deep look into how many we've got open, and we'll start to power through those. But yeah, that Mueller@coherelife.com is the best way to reach us. On the back side, I've got the website and of course the phone number and whatnot. Any other questions specific to the nuts and the bolts of the transition? So let's talk about what's to come. So like I said, our focus right now is to get these details in auto mode. Like, you guys are emailing, you're getting a response. You've got your Vantica portal set up, we've got the payments worked out, we are up and running. Everyone is being, heard and respected with regards to their wishes, and we've got a system in place. What's to come beyond that? Like I said, we mentioned that we've got strategic planning session that we're about to move into, and we already have a good idea of what those things are going to be. On the back side there, I've kind of listed a few of the high-level priorities. One just being better tech tools. The portal itself, who has logged into the portal? Is there anybody here that's used that yet? In the portal? Dennis, you have? What do y'all think about it? Is it simple to use? Does it seem pretty intuitive?
I have no problem with it.
Okay. And that's been the feedback that we get from our homeowners, is that the portal is pretty simple to use. And it's literally there to show you your account balance, see your merged accounts all in one place, and you'll be able to see those email interactions with the team there. Eventually, you'll be able to see any architectural requests that have been submitted, even any violations that you may have been issued. And I'm sure none of you will get any of those things. But we're still in the process of building out the system, so those things aren't exactly there just yet. Definitely your communications. So I encourage you do log into the portal. Beyond the portal, we've got a new resident hub, not a new resident hub, Dennis, but a new hub for all residents, and it's a new website that's coming. So we're in the process of custom designing a website that has a multitude of tools and resources that are there for you guys, including one of our favorite ones is the community concern form. Because sometimes we just need to fill something out in order to get our request in, and it may not be through the email, but you're in the park and you want to report that you just saw some crazy sprinkler action going on. You can get to the site on your phone, complete the community concern form, and be done with it. Or maybe you've got a neighbor issue that you need some support with on some communicating a need. We can help with that as well. So again, you can always email Mueller@coherelife.com, but then also, because some folks just prefer it this way, we also will have the community concern form. The website will have all of your governing documents, your past meeting minutes, your financial packages. We're also building out the website so that it very easily explains the multiple layers there are to Mueller. So, yes?
When will that be ready? Why isn't it already there?
It's not ready yet because it is launching May 1st. Yes. Now this is a custom website. It's not like the website that we have today, and these things do take time. There is a digital marketing team that is behind this. So it takes a lot of resources.
When did we sign our contract with you?
It was effective last week, February 1st.
When did we sign it?
In October. Yeah.
So with the new site, so everything you're doing now is gonna need to be transitioned over to him?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No. Our management operating system is in place, and that's different. This is a resident hub, a resource for you guys. The website that you guys have today still remains until we launch the new site. So I'm just excited to share with you the new things that are coming, including being able to see those meeting minutes, those documents and whatnot. As I mentioned before, just increased engagement opportunities, and the other handout. I have more copies of these that I'll place out. But again, if you'll read the FAQ, it has more information about how to make your payments, including free ways to make a payment, which I encourage. And yeah, we appreciate that you've shared your heart with us. Please take a moment. If I've triggered any thoughts around feedback, use the white card for that. Please sign your name to the back of it so that we can know who to follow up with, including a phone number or an email, however you wish to be reached. And yeah, stick around. We have more time that we can chat. So thank you all.
Wait.
Yes.
I'd like to take a moment to welcome Coher.
Yes. And before we close, I want to get to Q&A, honestly, but I wanted to give folks around the room, Karen specifically, Matthew, if you guys want to say a few words, even Joe, would y'all like to say anything?
You said Joe, there's lots of Joe.
Oh yeah, he knows Joe.
I'm Karen Sharp. I'm
I'm on the Master and Mixed Use Board, and I'm president of the Master Board. And I was also the chair of the transition committee that worked for 5 years to prepare for the governance transition. And I'd like to recognize the people in the room who also are on the boards now. Could you just raise your hand? And we have a very active community, I will say that, and that this community is very intentional about building community already. There's a lot of great infrastructure in place. You know, you have blocks that have been building community for a long, long time, and they have special events that they have, and so there's a lot of great infrastructure, and that's one of the things that we recognize with Cohere is that their value on that sort of thing really matched what was already happening that was so good here. So that was one of the things, and we know that they're gonna help us with technology, as Christi has talked a lot about. The new website is exciting. They needed to start work with us in order to identify what would be in our website, all that content, and so that's why it's gonna take a couple months to put together. The boards just started meeting, and we're working out some of our initial processes. You know, we have not been in the majority until now, and so part of our work this year is putting policies in place that we need on the way we do things, or the way things happen in the community, so that things are a little more predictable for the members of the association. So we're excited. There's a lot of new things, and just really glad to see so many people come out today. That's a really good sign. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. Matthew, do you want to say a few words?
Sure. We know the community has high expectations for us, and we thank you for the opportunity and the privilege to be here. So we have high expectations for ourselves, and we know we can deliver on what we promised you. So all the feedback that we've shared here, which is a really small, short forum, we've heard as well in other forums, and we are doing things about it. We're working with your team a lot. You've got a great team. A heart beats more than once a minute, so I have a couple heartbeats up there, or hearts up there. But one of my heartbeats is the team that's already here serving you. They're good people, they want to do good work, and they want to serve you in the way that you expect. So I want to acknowledge the staff here. Also want to thank Karen and the entire board for the opportunity to partner with you. We really appreciate that privilege, and we're going to honor that, and we're going to deliver on the things we promised you. And my second heartbeat is probably the most important one. It's the community. So we have very high aspirations as a company to bring the life-changing power of community to the world. Pretty high up there, right? It's a big one, but it is something that we believe in. You don't do this kind of work unless you believe in those kind of things and value those kind of responsibilities. So we are stewards of the dream that you have to be in this community, and we're going to honor that and do good work for you, and we're going to have a great time together and build a great community with you. So thank you for the opportunity to be here.
We have about 25 minutes. If we have any questions that we want to answer now, or just hang out with us for a little bit, we can chat one-on-one. Anything that we can talk about as a group? Okay. Yes, sir.
Could somebody make sure that you answer emails that go to
Mueller@CohereLife.com? Yeah. You may have missed this part of it. I was just asking the team to loop us in whenever they're feeling overwhelmed about this. It's a new system for the group. We just started it on February 3rd, Monday, February 3rd. And that email, when you email, it goes into their system, and then from there, especially because the system is learning also the residents, the first time that your communication comes in, it doesn't get attached to an account just yet. So there's some extra step there. Once we have the first communication and we respond back, then the communication gets even easier and more efficient from there. So we're going to support the team and make sure that we're getting to those efficiently. Thank you for saying that. We will do a good job. Yes, ma'am.
I just thought I'd say we set up our payment and
for an automatic bank draft.
Yes.
And I had it to draft on February 6th, and I received a letter from Cohere saying my payment was received and my balance is 0. So you do find out that it went through, and that's good.
That's great, good. I'm glad that it works as we intended it to.
It's very
Thank
easy.
you. Good. Okay. Is there anything else that comes to mind? Well, if you wouldn't mind, if anything does, please share in that suggestion card. Leave those in the basket at the front. Do sign the back so that we can get back to you. And thank you guys for being here. We still have more food and drink, and just hang out. Let's continue to talk if we need to. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. And here's more handouts. Yeah.